Growing up, I was always around autism. Some of the earliest memories I have are not playing with my little brother with dinosaurs on a playmat. It's trying to interact with him while he was lining up videotapes on the floor for no reason. And whenever I tried to move them or interact with him, he got mad at me and pushed me away. It was kind of tough growing up with that, but my parents persevered. I have tons of memories of going to a physical therapist's office and sitting in the waiting room while I read silly magazines I didn't understand because I was 7 or 8 years old. There was tons of food in my house I couldn't eat because it was all for a gluten-free, casein-free diet, and all I knew was that it didn't taste like my Kraft mac and cheese. But a couple years later, my brother was brought out of autism miraculously. My parents wiped the sweat off their foreheads and went on with their lives. But not a year later, my other little brother, Jason, was diagnosed with autism. At that point, my dad got kind of angry and did the only logical thing. He started a company. The company develops websites for professional organizations and uses the proceeds to fund Autism Society websites. This was around the time that the iPhone and iPad came out, and some of the money made from that company was used to get my brother Jason an iPad for his therapy. I thought that iPad was really cool. I just knew I wanted to design an app for that iPad, and when my parents came over and said they were getting one, I thought it was awesome. My mom downloaded a couple apps for special needs children and was complaining to me one day about how they were kind of expensive or they didn't work the best, and I decided I was going to make an app. I didn't realize that I had no idea how to graphic design, program, make an app, or do any of that. I just thought, hey, I'm going to do this. So I put pencil to paper and designed a couple apps and opened Xcode and went around programming them. It was then I realized that I didn't know how to program. I spent $50 on a programming book, read the first 2 pages, and thought, this is really hard. So instead of learning how to program, I went up to my dad and asked him, will you give me a couple $100 so that I could hire a contractor online to do this for me instead? Okay. So he gave me the couple $100. I started Pufferfish Software, and in a couple months I had our first app out. Today, Pufferfish Software has 6 apps out on the App Store, helping autistic children with their therapy all across the world, and we're still growing. And when I tell my friends this, the kind of reaction I get is, oh, I could never do something like that. You're so smart. I wish I was as smart as you. I try and tell them, no, it's not because I'm smart. Or it's, you're so lucky to have a dad like that. If only my dad would believe in me that way. I'm like, no, it's not that either. I admit these external factors help me get started, but I do not attribute my success to luck, intelligence, or circumstance or anything like that. It's because I actually went and got started. Everyone wants to say that they can't follow their dreams because it's too difficult, or where are they going to get the money? You have to start, and you have to believe in yourself to do it. Last year, we had an English project where we had to stand up in front of the class and talk about our dreams. And I remember very vividly, one girl stood up and gave a very moving speech about how she wanted to go to Africa and work with children who have AIDS and, fix all the health problems over there. But her speech ended on a wistful note. I wish I could go, but I just don't know how I'm going to do it. So I went and talked to her after class. I'm like, grants exist to send people over to Africa. You could go get those grants. You could apply for them. And she said, oh, but there's no way that I would get accepted. Well, you don't know if you don't try. What I want to convince you all of is that you have to at least take that first step. Life can't give you what you want if you don't even ask. I asked my dad for every little thing on the planet. I even asked him if he would buy me a brand new car for my 16th birthday, because he definitely wasn't going to buy it if I didn't ask. So I just want everyone to believe in themselves instead of thinking you can't do it. People I talk to all the time say they could never start a company like I have because they're not intelligent enough, they're not lucky enough, they don't have a family that will support them. But these are all things you can overcome. Intelligence isn't even a factor in it. All you have to do is be stubborn and get started. The investment aspect, there are tons of people out there who want to invest in young people, and this whole event is an example of that. This is an investment in your success. So if you want to go find some money, just go to a bank, ask if there's any way you'd be able to get a bit of money to get started. If your dream is to, say, put an app out on the App Store, Or if your dream is to go traveling to Africa to help with AIDS, you could apply for some grants that way. You don't have to be a big, corporate CEO or have all this experience in fundraising like another talk earlier. You just have to be willing to go up there and say, hey, I really believe in this, I am passionate, and I'm not going to give up. When I hire contractors, I don't look at all this experience they have, although that is a factor. What I look at is how hard are they going to work. And it's the same way when you're applying to a college, applying for a grant, or anything else like that. Are you going to work at it and not give up? I attribute half of the success I've experienced to the fact that I am 17. If you tell someone, oh, I'm 16 years old and I've started a company, they do go, oh, that's so cute. But when you show that you're serious and not going to give up, it really sticks because you're that young person making a difference, because there are so many young people not going up and reaching out and doing more because they're afraid of that. I just see it all the time with my friends and my peers, and I get so frustrated that I can't convince them that they really can do it. I have so many friends who have all these really great dreams, and I ask them, like, one of my friends wants to be a doctor, and I say, why don't you get an internship now? You hear in the school announcements all the time, you know, internship for people aspiring to be doctors, work with doctors today, get experience in your field, and they go, oh, I don't think I'd be able to do that. Why wouldn't you? Oh, I don't have the money. It's only $100, you know. I'm sure if you ask some adults, or you could work odd jobs until you got that money. The barrier to your success is never your intelligence or your circumstances or your luck. It's the passion to keep going and the stubbornness to not give up. A lot of people like to stand up here and say, it's my determination that helped me succeed, though I think determination sounds far too lofty. It sounds like a pie in the sky sort of trait that only a select few have. If you want to think of it this way, you can call it stubbornness, because I'm sure your parents tell you all the time, I wish you weren't so stubborn. So you could use that stubbornness to pursue your dreams. And it's okay if you don't know what your dream is right now. You don't have to know today. But like Demi was saying, when you do know what it is, it will hit you and you will know. And all I ask is that you have the perseverance to not give up when you do know what it is. And if you don't know what to do, just do something and the answer will come to you. You don't have to have a big plan. When I started my company, I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that if I kept emailing people and kept writing letters to people, something would turn out right, and it did. So, as my time winds to a close, I would like to leave you with this thought. You do not have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Thank you. Oh,